So another day begins and my to-do list is flooded with tasks and choices. Where do I even start? Should I do this first or that? Or maybe to do this for a little while and then to do that other thing. An effective way to reduce that uncertainty and stop being frustrated by these choices is to know when it's better to do what during your day, backed with strong science. And research shows there's a 2-hour window during the day when patients are 3 times more likely to receive a potentially fatal dosage of anesthesia and considerably more likely to die within 48 hours of surgery. Doctors are 26% more likely to prescribe unnecessary antibiotics for viral infections. Nurses and other caregivers are nearly 10% less likely to wash their hands before treating patients. Do you know what time of day this is? It's 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And what's going on is a decline in vigilance, a so-called trough period of the day. It begins approximately 7 hours after you wake up and lasts for at least 2 hours, for most people from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Our alertness and energy levels plummet during the afternoons, and with that comes a fall in our ability to remain focused and analyze information. So afternoons can be a dangerous time to be a patient, and you might want to think twice before scheduling a visit to a medical center from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. But this tendency goes way beyond hospitals. Across many domains, the trough time of the day represents a danger zone for productivity, ethics, and health. For example, studies show that sleep-related vehicle accidents peak between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. The typical worker reaches the most unproductive moment of the day at 2:55 p.m. People are more likely to be dishonest in the afternoon because most of us are less able to resist opportunities to lie, cheat, steal, and engage in other unethical behavior in the afternoon.
It's hard to breathe, but that's alright.
So, in the middle of your day, at least for 2 hours, or better for 4 hours, between 6 and 10 hours after you wake up, first, don't do anything important. And if you absolutely must do some significant work in the middle of your day, studies show that using checklists helps to perform better and avoid costly or deadly mistakes. Second, do the most straightforward and least important mundane tasks and chores from your to-do list. And third, definitely take a nap if you possibly can. Science shows that 6 or 7 hours after waking is an optimal nap time for most people, and done right, naps can be extremely valuable. As one academic overview of the napping literature explains, even for individuals who generally get the sleep they need on a nightly basis, napping leads to considerable benefits in terms of mood, alertness, and cognitive performance. Another analysis of about 20 years of napping research concludes that healthy adults should ideally nap for approximately 10 to 20 minutes. Yes, just 10 to 20 minutes. If you nap for more than 20 minutes, so-called sleep inertia takes over and you need extra time to recover. And if you nap for less than 10 minutes, you don't get much benefit. But naps between 10 and 20 minutes measurably boost alertness and mental function, and at the same time don't leave you feeling even sleepier than you were before. And if you want to get an even more significant energy boost, you might want to try an almighty version of nap known as the Nappuccino. Researchers have found that caffeine, usually in the form of coffee, followed by a nap of 10 to 20 minutes, is the ideal technique for staving off sleepiness and increasing performance. To take a Nappuccino, first, create a peaceful environment. Turn off your phone notifications, close the door, lie down, use your earplugs or headphones, and an eye mask. Second, drink a cup of coffee. Since caffeine takes about 25 minutes to enter the bloodstream, you will get a secondary boost from it when you wake up. Third, set a time on your phone for 25 minutes, and that includes 7 minutes it takes for most people to nod off. There's evidence that habitual nappers get more from their naps, so if you have the flexibility to take regular afternoon naps, consider making it a habit. Okay, that was about what to do in the middle of your day, between 6 or 7 and 9 or 10 hours after you wake up. But what happens before and after that? What do we do then? Well, as it turns out, our cognitive abilities do not remain static over the course of a day. During the 16 hours or so we are awake, they change. We are smarter, faster, dimmer, slower, more creative, and less creative in some parts of the day than others. Research has shown that time of day effects can explain 20% of the variance in human performance on cognitive activities, and the best time to perform a particular task depends on the nature of that task. Meet Linda. She is 31 years old, single, outspoken, and very bright. In college, Linda majored in philosophy. As a student, she was deeply concerned with issues of discrimination and social justice, and participated in anti-nuclear demonstrations. Before I tell you more about Linda, let me ask you a question about her. Which is more likely? A. Linda is a bank teller. Or B. Linda is a bank teller and is active in the feminist movement. This is an example of an analytical problem. Researchers have posted the Linda problem at different times of day, at 9 a.m. and 8 p.m. People were much more likely to get it right earlier in the day than later. And what's the correct answer to the problem? It's A. Bank tellers who are also feminists are a subset of all bank tellers, and subsets can never be larger than the full set. They are part of it. Evidence has shown that 3 out of 4 people perform best on analytical, logical thinking during the mornings. When we wake up, our energy level and alertness slowly rise, and that enhances our executive functioning, our ability to concentrate, and our powers of deduction. For most of us, those sharp-minded analytical capacities peak in the late morning. So in the first part of your day, till about 6 or 7 hours after you wake up, do your analytical tasks. Study, make important decisions, do tasks that require intense concentration and focus. Okay, now what about the second part of your day? That is 9 or 10 hours after you wake up and later. What is better to do at that time? Well, all brain work is not the same, and to illustrate that, here's another pop quiz. Meet Ernesto. He is a dealer in antique coins. One day, someone brings him a beautiful bronze coin. The coin has an emperor's head on one side and the date 544 BC stamped on the other. Ernesto examines the coin, but instead of buying it, he calls the police. Why? This is what social scientists call an inside problem. And it involves quite a bit of frustration at first. And at some point, hopefully, a so-called aha moment comes, and we see the facts in a fresh light and discover the solution. The date on the coin is 544 BC, or 544 years before Christ. And that designation couldn't have been used then, because Christ hadn't been born. And of course, nobody knew that he would be born half a millennium later. The coin is a fraud. Researchers found that people solved this and other inside problems better in the second half of the day than in the morning. Creative tasks are different from analytical ones. They require less vigilance and less suppression of distractions. That aha moment is more likely to occur at looser moments, when a few distractions can actually help us spot connections we might have missed when our filters were tighter. For example, most students perform better in classes such as art and creative writing during their non-optimal compared to optimal time of day. So do your creative tasks in the evening, 9 or 10 hours after waking. That includes generating ideas, designing, making art, and so on. Now, most of us share this common daily pattern: a peak, a trough, and a rebound. In the mornings, during the peak, most of us excel at Linda problems, analytical work that requires sharpness, vigilance, and focus. Later in the day, during the rebound, most of us do better on coin problems, inside work that requires less vigilance and focus. But human beings don't all experience a day in the same way. So-called late chronotypes or owls detest mornings and don't begin picking until late afternoon or early evening. The reality of chronotypes is more nuanced, but for practical purposes, it's enough to know whether you're an owl or not. And here is an easy way to determine your chronotype. Think about your free days, days when you are not required to awaken at a specific time, and answer these 3 questions. What time do you usually go to sleep? What time do you usually wake up? And what is the middle of those two times, your midpoint of sleep? For instance, if you typically fall asleep around 11:30 p.m. and wake up at 7:30 a.m., your midpoint is 3:30 a.m. Now, if your midpoint is 6 a.m. or later, you are a late chronotype or an owl. About 1 out of 4 people are owls. And while most of us experience the day in 3 stages, a peak, a trough, and a rebound, owls display the opposite tendency. They experience the day in reverse order: a rebound, a trough, and a peak. So if you're an owl, for you it's better to study and do other analytical tasks in the evening and do creative tasks in the morning. And if you have even modest control over your schedule, try to nudge your most important work, which usually requires vigilance and clear thinking, into the peak, and push your second most important work or creative tasks into the rebound period. Whatever you do, do not let mundane tasks creep into your peak period. Do those at the trough. The results are greater productivity, reduced stress, and higher satisfaction. Okay, that's decided. But we definitely don't want to work non-stop, do we? So what about breaks? When do we do them and how? Well, there's no single answer to that, but science offers 5 guiding principles. First, frequent beats occasional. That is, frequent short breaks are more effective than occasional longer ones. One study found out that 5-minute breaks every hour are more effective than a single 30-minute break. Another study suggests to work for 52 minutes and then break for 17 minutes. Second, moving beats stationary. Research shows that walking breaks boost energy levels, sharpen focus, and improve mood. Regular short walking breaks in the workplace also increase motivation and concentration and enhance creativity. Third, social beats solo. Social breaks, that is, talking with your coworkers about something other than work, are more effective at reducing stress and improving mood than either so-called cognitive breaks, e.g., answering emails, or nutrition breaks, that's getting a snack, especially when you decide who and how. Fourth, outside beats inside. Research shows that being close to trees, plants, rivers, and streams is a powerful mental restorative. People who take short walks outside return with better moods and greater replenishment than people who walk indoors. But if the best you can do is look at some indoor plants or the trees outside your window, well, studies suggest that will help too. Taking a break indoors amid plants is better than doing so in a green-free zone. And looking out a window into nature is better than looking at a wall. And fifth, fully detached beats semi-detached. One study found out that relaxation breaks, that is stretching or daydreaming, eased stress and boosted mood better than breaks filled with cognitively demanding tasks, such as checking out our text messages. Tech-free breaks increase vigor and reduce emotional exhaustion, while using one's phone for social media can intensify fatigue. So the ideal break looks like this: a short walk outside with a friend, during which you discuss something other than work. To summarize, do your analytical tasks in the morning, or if you're an owl, in the evening. Take a nap or Nappuccino and do mundane tasks and chores in the middle of your day. Do creative tasks in the evening, or if you're an owl, in the morning. Take frequent, active, tech-free breaks, better outside and with a friend. Now, if you want to go deeper into this topic, I recommend a great book called When by Dan Pink. And if you think this video is useful, please give it a like and consider supporting this channel by sharing it and subscribing. Thank you.